yesterday, all the information, there was a lot of information yesterday. From what you've seen, what the public has seen, what's out there, is that correct?
Yes, there was a complete package of information provided.
No, but I mean, from the reports and everything that you've seen. I mean, because, everybody's saying privatization, sale, all of that, but what is the one thing that you would like to take away from yesterday that the public needs to know?
What the board decided to do yesterday was to open the door to exploring a process to maximize our 4 measures of value at JEA. As you know, we measure value under CSEF. It's customers, community, environmental, and financial. And so what they've opened the door to do is to start a process to explore what that means for us. We would run an open and competitive solicitation process where we'd invite everybody in the community nationwide to come and offer their best ideas for how we might be able to restructure our business to remove some of the constraints that are getting in the way of us maximizing value.
So not necessarily saying putting a for sale sign on there, but just saying, hey, if you're interested, here's what we could do, or what?
That's exactly right. Not necessarily a for sale sign. It's really a very open process that's not prescriptive in terms of outcomes.
In this, though, a lot of talk coming from this is JEA is looking at privatizing the utility, having a non-government agency take it over. Is that accurate?
What we talked about with the board yesterday is the root of most of our constraints as a business is not that we're community owned. The root of most of those constraints is that we're government. And so what we did talk about yesterday as part of this open process is exploring ways that we might restructure into something that is non-governmental. As you said, it doesn't mean putting a for sale sign out. It might be converting into something that's pure community ownership. It might be an initial public offering. It might be a partnership with a technology or an oil and gas company. Those are the kinds of ideas that we'll be soliciting through this competitive process.
And doesn't that kind of go, well, I guess it wouldn't be against what the public voted for, because they want to be able to vote if something would change on that. Do you think this is still in line with all of that?
An absolutely critical piece of this process is that our entire community, every single member of our community, will have a voice in whether or not to approve something, if we even get to that point in the process.
When you're talking about a vote, when you say approve.
Yes,
right.
That's exactly right. Our first step is to bring ideas back to the board, who will be able to filter those ideas against our measures of value to make the selection.
Obviously, already there's critics out there saying this is nothing but a smokescreen for a sale. How do you respond to that? And I could show you that, like the Democratic Party is making that statement today.
What's important is that this is an open and deliberate process, and that we are working to maximize those 4 measures of value. There are two things in particular that were incredibly important to our board and to our leadership team as we talked about this yesterday. The first was protecting our community. Our customers are what have made us great for 125 years, and to the extent we move forward with something, it's something that will have a significant economic impact on our customers that will be very positive. The second is protecting our employees and giving our employees comfort that they will be protected no matter what happens in terms of the future.
And then if I'm reading that correctly on employees, like if another entity takes over, they're only guaranteed 3 years. Is that kind of what I'm seeing in that letter that went out to employees?
What we said as table stakes, what the board selected as table stakes in their process yesterday, was intended to provide comfort for employees. So they did get 3 different areas of protections in connection with that conversation. The first, and to me the most important, is to protect their nest egg in terms of their retirement. And so our board approved the introduction of legislation to City Council that would do just that would protect retirement benefits for our employees. The second was a retention concept, which is intended to provide perfect continuity of operations through anything that we might explore as JEA, because we need to never take our eye off the ball of providing excellent service to our customers. And that program is designed to let us do that. And then the third is the 3-year guarantee of compensation and benefits for our employees, again, to give them comfort that they have a professional future. There's not an intended end date of that 3 years. It's mostly just to give employees comfort that they're taken care of through this process.
There is already, like I mentioned, some council members they're saying they really don't see that JEA is in that deep of a hole. And that's why they say, yes, some restructuring would be good, but they don't think it's as critical as it, like we've been hearing in the last 3 months coming back. What do you tell them? I mean, they, like, for example, we were talking about building a new building, a new headquarters, and then suddenly, no, we can't do that. Why all of a sudden did this become a problem?
It's a couple questions to unpack
I
there. but
understand.
It's an incredibly important question that you're asking. We have our entire business is facing a transformation that's driven by technology innovation. So we are being completely disrupted as a utility, and you see that through things like what's happened in our sales. Our sales are down 10% from our peaks in the electric business. We've been able to continue to be financially healthy because we've increased rates. We've increased rates to customers on the electric side by more than 70% over the last 10 years. And that allows us to continue to post healthy financial results for the benefit of the investor community. And that also puts us in a really unique and important position because the sky's not falling today, but it may be falling tomorrow. And 5 years from now, we expect to get to what we call grid parity. We expect there to be an economic alternative to JEA's electric system for our customers. So before we get there, we need to figure out how to grow this business, how to reduce our constraints and make sure that we've got a healthy business as we look forward into the future.
And that's what this process is.
That's exactly right.